Biggs, I think it's time for everybody's favorite segment, JoJo 190, where Mumkey and Bigs are reviewing every episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, one per week. And Biggs, I've had a lot of revelations since the previous installment, and you have some explaining to do.
Okay.
Is it true that, in fact, JoJo 190 is a lie, and that they're working on more episodes of this fucking show as we speak?
That's funny.
So like, there's entire seasons that have not been animated yet, is that correct?
Yep, that's pretty true.
And they'll probably come out within the next 189 weeks.
We can only hope.
Somebody says part 7 will not be animated for at least 4 years. It very well could be right when we finish 190, the new season will come out, Biggs. Is that right?
Yeah. That's my hope, is that it comes out in time.
So, yeah, 190 might as well just be JoJo Infinity. Like, we have no clue how long it's going to be.
Yeah.
And my other thing I wanted to talk about, Biggs, is, and I mentioned this earlier on in the program, are we making a mistake watching the anime instead of reading the manga? Because somebody sent me some manga panels. The scene in episode 1 when the dog gets burned up in the oven, in the manga, like, you see the dog burning alive and it, like, busts out through the oven door and it's like a hellhound demon, and the art was fucking amazing. And then in the anime, you just see, like, the closed oven door and, like, a dog whimpering, and you don't see anything cool. Why are we watching the pussified crybaby version of this story, Biggs?
That's a good question. I myself have not even read it, so I mean,
It's not too late. We could both read an entire volume of the manga every week, and we could be through this shit in 2 months.
yeah, it's I don't know, like I watched up until, or no, I watched all of it to completion before part 6 came out. And so I was like, I want to keep going, so I started reading part 6. And I guess I kind of went off of that to see how well they like tied the manga to the anime. And for that one, it seemed like they were pretty spot on. I mean, I didn't finish it because then it came out and then I just watched it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I've never been a huge manga reader, but I'm willing, I guess. It's just a matter of time to sit down and read it. I don't know. For me, I'm more of a hmm. Probably, I guess you'd call it a spoon feed baby. Like I
Okay.
prefer to be spoon fed a show versus having to sit and read it.
But
I
aren't we
like actually
watching
seeing the
this?
animations.
Didn't we both say we're watching this with the Japanese dub? So you're technically reading it anyway, right?
I mean, technically, but I actually get to see like the action
Turning the page
in
is too much
action.
effort. It's like, oh, like SpongeBob trying to
Yeah,
lift
but
a stuffed
like
animal, like trying to turn a page of a
whenever,
book.
so for me, it's like when I'm reading a book and I'm like picturing something like, man, I would really just love to see this like happening. It would be so cool. So like movie
That's
adaptations
what
of
the
books, I think
drawing
is
is
great.
for. It's a
But it doesn't
drawing.
it doesn't show you the full thing. It's like when a fight's going on, it's like one panel, and he's like, next panel is like, it's like I'd rather see the full animation. Does that make sense?
I
Yeah, call me
guess.
a big baby that wants spoon fed. That's fine. I will take it. I called myself that, you know?
Oh, yeah, I think he's just quoting
I
you. I wouldn't take it too
that's
personal.
well no, I don't I literally don't care. I just think that's my preferred way of taking in the whatever you call
Well, Toothpaste
it.
Casserole says Biggs can't rotate an apple in his mind. Is that true?
Yeah, so I'm one of those that apparently can't picture like an actual strawberry with like full color. Like I can get the outline, but when I try to imagine it, I don't see like an actual like strawberry. And
Hmm.
apparently that's really weird.
I mean, it's all just imagination, right? Just imagine that you can see it, and then you can tell people that you did.
True.
It's all just in your fucking brain anyway,
Yeah,
right?
lies are just imaginations of the mind. So I mean,
Yes.
it's like I can just make up that I can see it.
Yeah. But that's enough bitching and moaning. Let's actually dive into episode 2. We get another time skip, and we're introduced to Jack the Ripper in London, and I get hyped for this. There's like a whole Detective Conan movie about solving Jack the Ripper. It's an interesting character in history for me. And I thought, okay, JoJo, he's going to London. Oh, I bet he's going to have a big boss fight with Jack the Ripper. They introduced it at the beginning of the episode. And then he's never brought up again. JoJo comes home from London. No Jack the Ripper, Biggs. Am I being cucked here? Or will we get Jack the Ripper later on in the season?
Well, I can't give spoilers, you see,
Right,
but
right.
so what? Watching the intro, what would you call it? Like the I don't even know what you call it. The prologue? Not prologue.
Cold open?
Sure, yeah, cold open. That's a way to put it.
Sure.
What'd you think of the cold open before the intro song? Because
Is that them playing football?
so it's like a mixture of that, and then also like the Jack the Ripper stuff,
Right,
and
right. Yeah, so JoJo and Dio have seemingly overcome their differences in these last 7 years, and they're both like the biggest chads in school. I was complaining that JoJo is like a weak little wimpy baby bitch boy, but I guess in the last 7 years he had all of his character development because now he's just like a big ultra chad. He's trying to get a touchdown in football, and there's like 8 dudes hanging off of him, and he's still plowing forward, and he has great teamwork with Dio. So I figured, oh, somehow, some way, he overcame the death of his fucking dog, and now they're friends. But then they both have this little inner monologue. Oh, I fucking hate that guy. I've been pretending to like him for 7 years, and just wait, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get you, JoJo. I'm gonna get you, Dio. So, Biggs, could you imagine pretending to like somebody who you actually hate for 7 full years? I mean, how long
how
have
long
we
have
known
we
each
known
other?
each other?
Yeah.
Wow, that almost sounded scripted. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was kind of flabbergasted when I first watched this, like the first time through, because I was like, did they really just time skip 7 years and throw away all of that character like connection building that they did, of them having this rivalry and whatever, and they just kind of threw it away and now they're besties, and then it like immediately, oh, okay, that makes sense. That would have been really dumb if they just like time skip past all of the important character building stuff.
And the girl who got her first kiss stolen, as far as I know, she does not appear in this episode. Is she gone forever? I guess Biggs can't tell me.
I can't tell you, but she does not appear, and that also was kind of off-putting, I guess. I guess when I watched it initially, I was just thinking she was just a throwaway character, I guess. Well, I don't know why they would bring this random chick in and make it a big deal and then just get rid of her. But I feel like with everything that happened in the episode, they kind of ran out of time to put more in because I feel like they packed a lot into this episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we find out that Dio's ultimate plot from the very beginning, he's trying to now kill the senior Joestar so that he can, as his adopted son, inherit the fortune. So he's making him sick by slipping some sort of poison into his daily tea or whatever the fuck. And JoJo discovers this because he finds a hidden letter from Dio's dad saying, "Hey, yeah, I'm about to die from all these symptoms of poisoning. It's no big deal, though. I just wanted to let you know." And JoJo's like, "Wait a second. My dad has these same exact poisoning symptoms. Hold on." So this
Well,
motherfucker, Dio, killed his own dad so that he could get adopted by JoJo's dad so he could kill him. Like, this dude's been, what is the word for it?
so I don't know if it ever implies that he knew that he would be taken in by the Joestars before he killed his dad. I think he just hated his dad so much because he made his mom leave or die or whatever. I can't remember.
He did not, Dio was not aware that his
I don't
father was owed a life debt
I
then.
don't think so because you remember when he's on his deathbed in the first episode, he says, Dio, uh, I have this life debt owed from this man. You should go live with him now that I'm dying.
So he was
So I
just
think it
killing his
was
dad because he felt like it. Because fuck
yeah,
that
I think
guy.
he just hated his dad so much he wanted him out of the picture
And
because he
it
was
worked
like
so
causing him.
well the first time. He figured, okay, same trick again. Now let's kill my new dad in the same way.
Yeah. So I mean, I can't really blame the guy with his dad because when it shows like the flashbacks of him drunkenly like beating his son, it's like, yeah, I could get that. I don't
I
blame him
bet
there.
you could get that, couldn't you, Biggs?
I mean, I had no dad, so I
Oh.
I personally couldn't get
Now
that,
you were the
but
drunk dad to your brothers, I think.
oh, I'm the drunk dad.
Yeah. Now,
Uh,
in response to this, and JoJo confronts him about it, and he gets a sample of the poison from him, and then JoJo makes an interesting decision, in my opinion, when he finds out that his adopted brother has been slowly poisoning their father for 7 years and is trying to kill him. He then leaves the house to go on a trip to London for a few days, and leaves his father's would-be killer at home with him without telling his dad any of this information.
well,
I
you
don't know if
see,
I would leave my dad alone with his would-be killer.
again, I think it's just one of those things where it's like that time is weird like that because it's like he can't directly tell anyone else without evidence, and he wants the evidence before he can do anything with it. So that's why he brings in like a bunch of physicians
Right. He says, "Okay, dad,
to
only take medicine from these doctors here, but
yeah, so he
it's
like
kind of too
surrounds
little
his
too late at
dad.
this point."
Yeah, he surrounds his dad with these doctors and like other people and says like don't let anybody else come near him with like any medication, like only these guys. So I feel like he took the precaution like to that point he didn't see Dio as someone who would like go in there and like knife them all up or something. He was just trying to discreetly kill him allegedly with this medication or poison. So he's like, I can't really do anything else other than go and find out the truth and then take care of it.
Yeah. Is there no way to take the sick father with you to London? Like, hey,
If
dad, let's
he's
go on
that sick,
vacation.
if he's
Is
like
he that sick? He's kind of just
deathbed
laying
6,
there.
I mean, I don't know. It seemed like, they were implying that he was very sick, like deathbed kind of sick at that
Okay.
point.
I was just like, JoJo, don't leave him alone with Dio. What are you doing? But he goes on his little adventure. He wants to go find the Asian apothecary so he can get the poison tested, so he can finally have the evidence he's been looking for. And his journey takes him to Ogre Street, where every single British person in a full suit and tie and get up and vest is ready to stab him to death. And like dozens of British people are coming out of the woodwork to kill this man. And we see how strong JoJo has become because he's getting stabbed by blades, evidently down to the bone, and his conviction to protect his father is so powerful that the pain he feels from these slashes means nothing to him, and he actually earns the respect of his would-be killer because he fights him and does not kill him back. He's really a
Yeah.
saint.
I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. This is almost like a Simpsons moment where it's like a look into the future of what London is like these days, just getting knifed in the streets. I mean, the attackers look a little different these days,
Oh
but
Jesus!
basically the same. But yeah, I don't know. Again, it's like in the show in this era, a lot is weighed on being a gentleman and something like that, because even when uh, Jojo is like talking to Dio, like, well, if you didn't do it, just tell me as a gentleman and on your father's pride and that stuff, and like, that meant a lot to where he's like, well, I'm not going to admit it because it's not true, blah blah blah, that whole monologue. So it was interesting. I think it was also like he didn't really know who JoJo was. He was just like gonna rob him or whatever. And then when he saw how strong he was, he's like, "Oh, this dude's cool. I should probably befriend him before something happens."
Well, he could not believe that the man who he attacked, who was actually so much more powerful than him, gave him mercy. And when he was fighting him off, he could have easily killed him, but he didn't. And that's, he earns his respect and says, okay, my fellow Londoners, let's not kill the JoJo. He's good in my book.
Right.
And they all
And
listen to him, which is surprising.
so as the show goes on, you will learn to understand what it is to be a Joe Bro. And
Okay.
there's lots of them that come along through the show. So this is your first peek at the first Joe Bro.
What does Joe Bro mean?
You'll understand as the show goes on. It just we'll just say this sort of thing isn't out of the ordinary for the JoJo's as we go through the show.
For them to
Um,
earn somebody's respect by being the most badass dude ever?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
And
So
maybe as I'm watching more and more animes, I'm figuring out all the classic tropes of how to make a cool main character. Because JoJo, Luffy, Naruto, early on in their stories, they all have moments where they stab themselves to prove how fucking tough they are and that they don't care about getting hurt. Like Luffy's very first act in One Piece is he stabs himself in the face to prove how tough he is. When Naruto gets infected with venom, he doesn't even hesitate. He stabs his own fucking hand to get all the blood out. And JoJo here, he's getting cut to the bone by fucking Bowser's hat. Bowser's wedding hat from Mario Odyssey. You take it off, there's fucking blades in the rim of the top hat. And this dude's throwing it at him, and he's getting all cut up, and he's just fine. He doesn't care. You know, if you want to be a badass shonen protagonist, you have to get stabbed at the beginning of Arc 1.
I even love the scene where he's like, he drops the hat and he's just like rubbing his wrist, like, oh, just wipe off the blood, it's fine.
Just like every girl I dated in high school, wiping the blood off her slashed wrist. Okay.
So, next up after this scene, we get the sort of answer to the question of the mask. What did you think of that scene?
So my prediction was the white kabuki mask that responds to blood would somehow unlock the stand for JoJo. I still don't know what that is or what it means, but it turns out if you wear the mask and then all the little things pop out to, I guess, inject your fucking brain or something, it turns you into, I assume, a vampire, because some homeless guy gets the mask on and then he's sucking out the blood from Dio. He gets super strength, like he just knocks his ass all the way across the London street. And then when the sun comes up, the dude turns to ash. So I guess this mask turns you into a scary vampire.
So what role at this point do you think this is going to play on the rest of the show?
Ooh. See, I don't know. It was supposedly a gift from JoJo's mom to him, so I have to imagine it's not supposed to be an evil thing that will ultimately be like the big bad villain of the season. But I don't know why JoJo's mom would give him a mask that turns you into a vampire. So, but clearly it makes you extremely strong, so much so that Dio got his ass beat and was about to die. Like the sun saved his life. So I'm thinking somebody bad, maybe even Dio himself, is going to wear this mask and JoJo's going to have to fight a super powerful vampire. Maybe Jack the Ripper will put it on. That's my prediction of the week. I want Jack the Ripper to become a vampire.
You never know. I mean, that could come to fruition. So then after that scene, we went to him returning to the house and being confronted by JoJo saying, "Gotcha.
Gotcha, bitch." Yep. And then we get
Gotcha.
the epic to be continued meme. Yeah, can't wait.
So I guess a lot of this is just going to be like asking your predictions, I guess.
Let's
But
do it.
What do you think the next episode is going to entail with him being caught now?
Let's get a big epic fight in the foyer of the mansion. I want JoJo versus Dio, basically round 2, and JoJo needs to get his ass beat again, because that's how this
You think
shit
he's going to
works.
win?
JoJo needs to get his ass beat.
No, I mean Dio. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You
of course.
think Dio's going to win?
If the hero defeats the villain in episode 3, why am I even watching this shit?
That's true. That's fair. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, episode 3, Dio will beat JoJo's ass. Maybe even just go up and say, fuck it, I'm just going to kill JoJo's dad. I don't care. and maybe he'll finally die. Just go up and kill him.
He just slashes his throat in front of everyone.
At this point, he's been caught. Like, all of his dreams and plans for the last 7 years are fucked because JoJo has the evidence he's been poisoning his dad. How do you get out of that? Just kill them both. Just get it over with.
Yeah, I mean, that from Dio's standpoint, walking into that, knowing that he's caught, you really have no other options other than to fight your way out of it or just run away. And I mean, with this being the first part, at least being how many episodes is first part? Like 12? Let's see. JoJo part 1 episode count. 9 episodes for the first
This
part.
is only
And
9 episodes? Ah,
yeah,
shit.
for part 1.
Okay.
So that's the thing with the season, or the seasons are different from the parts because part 1 was so short they kind of threw it in season 1 also with part 2. So season 1 is part 1 and part 2.
Oh, okay, I see.
So that's why there's only 5 seasons but 6 parts so far.
Real quick, Foxcat Gaming donated $10 to say, I am literally trapped in the hospital I work in. There are 10-foot tall snow drifts. All I wanted to do was go home, but I may be stuck at my work all weekend. But hey, my favorite Mumkey is here too. What a nightmare. Good luck, my friend. Get in that ambulance and plow through. Any other prediction questions to wrap up JoJo 190 this week, Biggs? We did not find out how he burned the dog alive from the school, and I guess that secret will die with the author.
Or it's in the manga, you could read it, I guess, and maybe that'll give more to that.
Oh, okay.
Predictions for the future. What is your prediction on what a stand is, and where do you think it comes from?
Oh God, we've never even seen it in the show. How am I supposed to have any clue? I know that stands are like a ghost. It's like your shadow, like in Blue Dragon. I don't know. It's like attached to you, and they're named after fucking prog songs from the 80s and 90s, I think. And they have goofy powers, and then like the real thrill of the show evidently is how the powers in fights interact with each other.
Yeah, it's so funny because before I watched it myself, obviously I'd seen memes of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'd seen clips of different things. I didn't know what was going on, but like I saw it. So when I watched part 1, it was so jarring. I'm like, this is nothing like what I expected.
So there's
And
no stands in part 1 is what you're saying.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it compared to the idea of what I had for this show in my mind was way, way different from what the part 1 like showed me. It was so strange, but as I kept watching, like, I don't know. I personally like part 1. I think it's really interesting. A lot of people don't think it's the strongest season, which
I'm
is
digging it so far.
the
I think
strongest part.
both these episodes were solid entertainment for me. Like, I'm pretty hooked.
Yeah, so like in a year or so when you're in part 3, yeah, you're really gonna like it as it goes on. Because for me, it was just building up more and more to where I liked it even more. So
Eric Rodriguez wants to warn us. He says, something you should probably know is some JoJo episodes have a post-credit scene, including the next episode. Biggs, are you going to warn me in the future, or should I just watch all of these all the way through?
So, what are you watching it on?
Hulu.
Hulu? So typically the streaming sites, when there's something in the credits or after the credits, it'll play through. It won't autoplay. But if you want, I can probably find a list of episodes.
From now on, I'll just watch until it tries to autoplay the next one, and then I'll
Yeah.
turn it off.
And it's not really a spoiler, but I will also say sometimes the openings will change and the outros will change.
Okay.
And they'll give you like little hints and tidbits about either what's going on or what's going to happen next, that sort of thing. So yeah.
Well, I think, does that cover all of our coverage of JoJo episode 2?
Yeah.